The anime begins with an underground world that has existed since ancient times. The place was inhabited by earthen statues that lived like humans. After that, we will be taken to an underground city called Kinyang. The place looked very peaceful, with creatures made of statues living in it. There was a man named Meng Yuan, a craftsman, who was tasked with cleaning all the swords in the city. But even so, Yuan had a dream to become a warrior. However, Master Wang reminded him that he was just a handyman who could never become a warrior. During the conversation between Master Wang and Yuan, a warning trumpet sounded that their city was being attacked by fierce land monsters. The attack was the second time in their city. The city warriors immediately came out and tried to restrain the land monsters from entering their city. Not long after, Yuan ventured to come to the battlefield. With confidence, he firmly believed that now was the time to become a warrior. However, ridiculously, Yuan, who was as stylish as he was hit by a gust of wind that knocked him off the cliff. Luckily, he fell on top of an earth monster, so he didn't feel any pain. After that, the earth monster ran and dragged his body far away, even sending him tumbling over the abyss. Shortly afterward, another land monster attacked Yuan, but fortunately, he was saved by a man named General Xiaohao. The people in the city greatly admired General Xiaohao's figure. With his strength, he defeated the land monsters that attacked them. Seeing that, the other land monsters became frightened and immediately left the city. In the end, the warriors and Yuan cheered for him. After that incident, Yuan was punished by Master Wang because he had tried to enter into a dangerous battle. His two male friends then came to remind Yuan not to do that again because it would only cause trouble for him. His friends also told him that there was a terrible earth monster outside the city and had stolen many statues from their city. After that, the three of them came to the town's news board to see the shape of the monsters. However, Yuan actually laughed because the poster only showed the buttocks. During their conversation, three arrogant warriors came to him. They started to bully him by saying that he was just trash and would never become a warrior. One of the warriors saw Yuan's jade fall, which was Ruishi, or lowly status. The warrior laughed at him and was about to beat him. Fortunately, General Xiaohao suddenly came to stop them. He said that Yuan could become a warrior on the condition that he must first catch the land monsters who had stolen the statues from their city. Hearing this, Yuan was overjoyed and agreed. After that, Yuan began his search. He then started walking nowhere to the north of the city. Not long after, he heard a voice from behind a large rock. It turned out that the voice came from the earth monster on the poster he brought. He got an idea to catch the land monster by making a rope trap with mushrooms as bait. Slowly, the monster began to follow the mushroom that Yuan pulled until it arrived at the rope trap he had made. He carefully wanted to pull the trap rope. Suddenly, there was someone who immediately attacked the monster using arrows. Soon afterward, he saw a woman wearing a mask. She reshot her arrow at the monster, but it managed to dodge her attack. Seeing this, she immediately jumped in front of the monster and attacked it directly with her sword. But the monster managed to withstand it until she was injured by holding her sword pressed by the monster. Not staying silent, Yuan also came to help the woman. Sadly, they were both caught in a trap set by him, so they were bounced far from where they were. He fell into a valley and was in a strange place with many stone inscriptions. Suddenly came a white male cat with 9 tails. The cat said that Yuan was currently in the Steel's forest. The cat explained that there were many inscriptions from the past to the present in the forest, all of which contained all the underground worlds. Shortly afterward, the cat showed Yuan a picture of all the cities in the underground world. After that, the cat showed him a stone inscription, which was engraved with several images of earth monsters surrounding a rock. The cat said that the stone was called the universe, which had the power to make land monsters survive and thrive. The cat also showed how the earth monsters were fighting over the stone, but one of the earth monsters didn't seem interested in the rock. It turned out that the monster was the one that Yuan had wanted to catch earlier. The cat said that the monster was named Kunlun. After that, the cat asked Yuan to see with the eyes of his heart what he really wanted. After explaining everything, the cat went and returned him to his original place. On his return, Yuan met a small animal with very large ears. At the same time, the woman appeared again and immediately attacked him. He tried to explain who he was to her, and he said their goal was the same, to capture Kunlun. Shortly afterward, Yuan invited the woman to cooperate. After that, the two of them went together to look for Kunlun, who was guided by the big ear. He also learned that her name was Shiyu after he read the name engraved on her flute. They were still guided by the big ear until they arrived at a place in the shape of a giant dragon. They then entered the building and saw a witch who was going to put a male goat into the firebox. Yuan also asked the man to stop what he was doing. However, several statue monsters began to arrive and tried to attack Yuan and his friends. The goat said to him that it was the witch who had stolen the statues from Kinyang City to turn them into pills that could give him power. The witch immediately ate a pill he had just made, after which the wound on his face healed instantly. After that, he and his statue monsters attacked Yuan and Shiyu. Not staying silent, Shiyu attacked the statue until it split into several pieces. But strangely, the statue confused again and returned to its original form. The two tried to escape that place, but suddenly a sword shattered her mask, revealing her face. The witch again attacked them, but Yuan and Shiyu did not give up so easily, then returned to fight. Yuan realized the statue monster's weakness was in its eyes. They also managed to destroy one by one the statue monsters by piercing their eyes. Not staying still, the goat managed to untie its body and help them, as did the big ear. By working together, they were finally able to defeat the witch and make him fall into his own fiery furnace. However, it actually makes the firebox explode, and Yuan immediately protects Shiyu, then leaves from there. On the way, the goat started boasting that he was an ancient magic weapon that had been cursed to become a goat. The goat also said that his name was Xiao Bao. Yuan said the goat was just a boaster who wanted to get Shiyu's attention. Hearing this, Xiao Bao felt very angry, and he issued his strength to change his true form to be shown to them, but he failed. Not long after, the place began to emit thousands of tiny glowing creatures. Shiyu then said that it was the creature that had lit up the underground world. After that, she asked why Yuan wanted to capture Kunlun. He told her he was just a lowly handyman who couldn't be anything, but if he managed to catch Kunlun, he could become a warrior. Yuan was also very inspired by General Xiao Hao, who was just an ordinary warrior, but with hard work, he could become a general to replace the old general who had died. However, Yuan felt that people were taking it as a joke and no one understood him. Hearing that, Shiyu said that she understood his feelings and would train Yuan on how to fight and use the sword so that he could capture Kunlun and fulfill his dream of becoming a warrior. Soon afterward, they continued their journey while training Yuan to fight and use the sword. This brought them closer, and he fell in love with her. Long story short, the land monsters are heading somewhere led by their alpha. Meanwhile, Yuan and Shiyu were chasing Kunlun until they reached a very large cave. But in that place, they actually met the baby earth monsters. Suddenly, a giant worm appeared from the ground and immediately attacked Xiao Bao. Luckily, Kunlun came to save him, and it turned out that the baby monsters were Kunlun's children. They quickly came out of the cave, but the worm monster was still chasing them until they arrived at a cave filled with a pool of very hot lava. The worm monster began to destroy the cavern, making Yuan and Xiao Bao almost fall into the lava. And when the monster was about to fall because it was moving erratically, suddenly, it began to pull Yuan to fall into the lava pool with him. Yuan, who was very panicked, asked Xiao Bao to help him. Hearing that, Xiao Bao tried again to change his form, but he couldn't be expected because he instead took out a sword from his buttocks. Not long after, Shiyu came to help Yuan by cutting the worm monster. Unfortunately, the poison from the monster's body hit her until she was unconscious. Yuan immediately took her out of that place, but they could not find a way out and instead found a quite deep river. After that, he built a boat and hoped the river's flow would carry them out of the cave. Inside the boat, Yuan could only stare at Shiyu's unconscious face. A moment later, they saw Kunlun, who was also looking for a way out. However, the problem came again when the river was getting shorter and closer to the cave ceiling. As a result, their boat was destroyed, so they were carried away by the current in the river. At that time, Yuan protected Shiyu from the rocks at the bottom of the river. He even sacrificed himself to save her. Suddenly, an old woman witch was seen rescuing the unconscious Shiyu. When she woke up, Shiyu also saw that Yuan was there. He said that Kunlun was the one who saved them all. The river also turned out to be bringing them back to Qinyang City. But unbeknownst to them, the nine-tailed cat had saved them by disguise as an old woman witch. At that place, Shiyu treated Yuan's injured body. He then asked about her purpose in capturing Kunlun. She told him she was from Donghua, another statue city far from Qinyang. Since she was young, Shiyu was different from the other statues. The lifespan of other statues could be thousands of years, but her grandfather said she would only live for a few decades. Her grandfather took Shiyu on a trip to another statue city to find her real family. Although there was never any result, her grandfather never gave up. Sometime later, they arrived near Qinyang City. In that place, Shiyu met Kunlun for the first time, and at the same time, her grandfather fell into the abyss. After that, she began hunting Kunlun to avenge her grandfather's death. A moment later, Yuan took Shiyu for a walk in the city to restore her cheerfulness. There was also a parade wearing costumes like earth monsters in that place. He then gave his jade to her, which had engraved her face. Yuan said that meeting her was the most beautiful thing in his life. He also said he would help Shiyu find her real family. Hearing that, she gave her favorite flute to him as well. Not far from where they were, they saw three arrogant warriors chasing Kunlun in the middle of the city. Not long after, Shiyu and Yuan came to join in the capture of Kunlun, but the monster instead brought Yuan to ravage the city. Soon afterward, Yuan managed to knock down and catch Kunlun. Just as Shiyu was about to kill Kunlun, he came to remind her that Kunlun had saved them. At the same time, the three arrogant warriors came and wanted to snatch Kunlun from Yuan and Shiyu. They said they could have caught Kunlun earlier, but an old geezer got in the way and thwarted them. Hearing that, Shiyu immediately attacked one of the arrogant warriors and asked him about the old geezer he was referring to. It is revealed that the one who killed her grandfather was not Kunlun but the arrogant warrior when they were about to capture Kunlun. Knowing that made Shiyu burn with anger and revenge to the point of wanting to kill him. But the action was stopped after General Xiaohao arrived at the place. He was about to punish her for wanting to kill a warrior. Shiyu, who did not accept this, immediately attacked him. After that, Yuan tried to restrain her, but it only made her very disappointed in him. Yuan pleaded with General Xiaohao not to punish Shiyu. He also said that she had helped him capture Kunlun. Hearing Yuan's request, he agreed. Even he accepted Yuan as his warrior because he had succeeded in capturing Kunlun. After that, Shiyu left Yuan feeling very disappointed. A few days passed. Yuan was finally appointed a warrior with a high position in the city. The people of the city also began to respect him. Even so, he actually felt sad and empty in his life. At the same time, the disappointed Shiyu threw away the jade that Yuan had given her. However, she changed her mind and tried to take the stone back into the river. In the evening, Qinyang City was suddenly attacked by land monsters. They had also managed to break through the city walls. Meanwhile, in another place, Kunlun is seen who is chained and tortured by the warriors. Not long after, Yuan came and stopped them. He immediately released Kunlun from the chains that bound him and asked him to leave that place. But suddenly, he took Yuan to go with him by running fast. Soon afterward, Yuan and Kunlun arrived at a place that contained a mysterious stone. Yuan finally realized that it was the universe stone that the nine-tailed cat had spoken of before. He discovered that the land monsters only wanted to take the stone from Qinyang City and not destroy the city. At the same time, General Xiaohao arrived at the place. He asked Yuan for the stone, but Yuan refused. The angry general was about to attack Yuan. Luckily, Xiao Bao and Shiyu came back to help him. After that, they immediately left there, carrying the cosmic stone with a black covering. But before leaving, Yuan saw General Xiaohao eating a pill that could heal the wound on his face. Furious, General Xiaohao asked all the warriors to capture Yuan. This left them cornered and unable to escape. Feeling that he had no choice, Yuan showed the stone to everyone and said that General Xiaohao had stolen the stone from the earth monsters, and the land monsters just wanted to take the stone back for survival. Not long after, the other land monsters arrived at the place. General Xiaohao then asked his warriors to fight them, while he tried to snatch the stone from Yuan. Until the stone cover accidentally fell off, so Yuan held the stone without the cover. But suddenly, the energy of the stone entered his body. General Xiaohao immediately stopped Yuan and managed to snatch the stone from him. But it didn't last long. The alpha monster came and bit General Xiaohao's hand until it was crushed. General Xiaohao, still conscious at that time, stuck the stone into his body and made him change. After that, he killed his 3 proud warriors to restore his shattered hand. With the stone's power as well, he could beat the ground monster Alpha to the ground. General Xiaohao also threatened to kill anyone who dared challenge him. Everyone in the place was very scared to see it, but not with Yuan. He and Shiyu then attacked General Xiaohao. The attacks of the two of them could even corner the general into a corner. Unfortunately, the stone's power managed to stop them. After that, General Xiaohao tried to chase Yuan and destroy his hand. He said that he was a weak person who was always oppressed in the past. Until then, he found the universe stone in the place of the earth monsters. He stole it and used the stone to increase his strength. A moment later, General Xiaohao was about to kill Yuan. Seeing that, Shiyu tried to stop him. Suddenly, he directly stabbed her. Because of that, Yuan could only crawl closer to her, who was already dying. Seeing this, the warriors began to rise to fight the general. Sadly, the power of the stone managed to stop them all. The ruthless General Xiaohao then used all his strength to kill everyone in the city to increase his strength. This time, the general wanted to rule in the underground world. This made the city crumble and also collapse. On the other hand, Yuan was still trying to reach Shiyu's hand, who was about to fall into the abyss. Shiyu said that meeting him was the most beautiful thing in her life. A moment later, she fell into the abyss, and the two finally separated. With a sad feeling, Yuan could only resign himself to seeing the entire city destroyed and losing Shiyu. But suddenly, he was in the inscription forest, and a 9-tailed cat was with him. He then recalled his time with Shiyu and made him drop his tears. Not long after, the 9-tailed cat inserted the big ear into Yuan's body, and suddenly, something happened. Yuan returned to his feet and even his entire body regenerated. Not staying silent, Xiao Bao also tried to change his form again, and this time he managed to change his form into a sword. With that sword, Yuan directly attacked General Xiaohao. A very fierce battle ensued between them, and unexpectedly, he managed to wound General Xiaohao with his sword. He even managed to get the stone out of General Xiaohao's body using the sword. After that, General Xiaohao turned into his true form and shattered into ashes. As a result, Yuan's victory made him considered a hero by all of them, but he felt it meant nothing because Shi Yu had left him. On the other hand, the earth monsters gathered to return the universe stone to its original place. Meanwhile, Yuan finally decided to go to Tong'an City. At the end of the story, there is a man who leaves the cave where the witch is without showing his face. The moral that can be learned from this anime is that sometimes what we think of as criminals are victims of the greed of fake heroes.